What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. It's your boy Ahzulo here with our first ever manga review. And as you can see, I'm trying new things. We got a new little intro, and I want to do different things with the intro. So always expect a new one. I want the intros to sort of match the theme or the vibe of a new video. So expect new different intros. And then you also can see that I'm also trying something new with the editing. Trying little voiceovers. I'm just, just testing, see what I like, see what I don't like, and just trying new things. I might show my face, I might not with some of these videos. But yeah, just stay tuned. I want you guys to always click on my video and expect something new, something different. I don't want it to be the same thing over and over. But yeah, anyways, let's get back to the video. So anime and manga has always been a big part of my life, even though I've always kind of tried to hide it. I don't know why, but I've always just been a fan account or a fan news account. I've never really put myself out there like that. But with this, I'm 100% all in because, not only is this a brand new series in itself, like it just started, but it's also, going to be a brand new series on my channel. And the most important part is actually by my goats. It's by Kento Matsuura and Togo Goto. And if you know me from Twitter or you just know me in general, then I love them. Like, I'm sorry, but I do. They're my goats. I'm always going to defend them. Like, I don't even care. Like, I'm going to be so biased towards this. But, I'm going to call out things I notice and things I see, even though I don't know much about this sport in particular. But I love them for real. I respect them. They work so hard, and, hopefully, third time's a charm. But, yeah, they're my goats. I just can't do much about that, And if you know me, I love Phantom Seer. Like, I always will forever talk about Phantom Seer. It really changed my life. And honestly, because of Phantom Seer, it slowly got me, to actually make a little, manga account and get to meet and connect with people. And then eventually, it got me doing this. And it really kind of shaped and hardened my love for manga and anime. And yeah, that's me. And, I'll probably just make a whole new little video or whatever on them, because honestly I can glaze them forever, but I'm gonna save that for a separate video. So yeah, stay tuned for that maybe. But yeah, anyways, let's actually get into the real juicy story. Today we're here to review Harukaze Mound's first chapter debut on June 15th 2025 and Weekly Shonen Jump issue number 29. Now, for those of you that are real ones, you already know, but for those of you that don't, this was actually a one-shot that was published back in 2022, I believe. And if you want to check it out, you can look in my Twitter or you can search it up. It's the same title, just with one shot at the end. And it's not a prelogue or anything, so you don't need to, or a prequel or anything, so you don't need to, you don't need to read it. But, if you want to see a little inspiration behind, the character designs and the story, it's a, little cool thing. It's not that much different from what was published now, but I know some fans out there, when you really get into something, you want to see more of it, and that's a little something for you guys. This is a brand new series. It's a sports series about baseball, and I'm just going to read you guys a little summary we got from Viz, and it says, twin brothers have aspiring dreams to pitch at the baseball championship, but making it to the top isn't always an equal path. Who doesn't love a nice little sports series? We have some sibling rivalry going on, and we're probably going to have some nice little competition. So yeah, it sounds like a good time. And yeah, before I jump into the chapter, I just want to say I will probably butcher these names, so bear with me, please. And this is probably going to also be kind of long, kind of lengthy, just because chapter 1 is usually pretty long. And I'm going to go dive into each page and stuff like that. So if you want to skip all of it, you can. At the end, I'm going to give my thoughts, and I'm going to dissect the color page, so just look forward to that. But yeah, anyways, let's get right into it. Page 1, we have a really nice mini color page showing us the start of it all. We have the twin brothers watching a professional baseball game, and it was in this very moment that they fell in love with the sport. We even get to see a glimpse of them as kids playing with each other outside, and we also get to see that they made a promise to each other, and the promise seems to revolve around playing together at Koshinen. And if I had to guess, I feel like that's either a high school or at or it's some sort of place, or kind of how the NFL is, or whatever league. So it's some sort of level or some sort of place that they want to go to together. Swiping next, or the next page, We have this gorgeously done lead color page setting the vibes of this story and overall this chapter. Like, Kento Matsuura, I love you forever because your pen game is just too elite. It's too fire. Nobody's touching you when it comes to art. And honestly, everybody else in Weekly Shonen Jump should be scared because now that you're back, I would hate to be up against you in weekly drawings. Like, as you can see, this is it got me like fumbling my words. It's just, I'm like looking at it right now. It's just too fire. But yeah, a really gorgeously done color page. And as you can see, there's kind of a lot. I know it looks simple, but it's also a lot. There's a lot of hidden details and a lot of hidden things that he kind of did and I kind of like. But I'm gonna break this down and dissect it at the end of the video because it does have some spoilers and I don't want to get too much into it before the story even starts because that will kind of ruin it. And like, trust me, it will just all make sense if we go through the chapter and then we come back to this. So jumping straight into the chapter, we get introduced to the two twin brothers. We have the older brother, Nagiharu Kuzumi, and the younger brother, Harukaze Kuzumi. And, you know, your classic little twin trope, your brother trope. You know, you have the one brother who's a little bit better than the other. And in this case, unfortunately, Nagiharu, the older brother, I'm going to start calling him Haru now. He's the unfortunate one. He's not as skilled and as talented as his brother, and people kind of, you know, joke on him and, you know, they laugh at him. But as opposed to his younger brother, Harukaze, I'm going to start calling him Kaze. Kaze he's a prodigy child. It seems like, you know, he's talented. Everybody kind of hypes him up. Even the coach seems to really favoritism him. And yeah, like the little description we even get for Kaze is literally top class in his generation. Not school, not district, not city, in his generation. Like, he's literally him. All them other kids, I feel bad because I would hate to be born in his generation. Like, that's crazy. That's a crazy intro, like, description. And we learned that Kaze is actually the starter pitcher and he's right-handed as opposed to his brother who is kind of like the backup or the sub for his brother. Essentially, they both play the same position. They're both the pitcher, and, you know, he literally just gets described as the reserve pitcher for his brother. And his style, they call it southpaw, and I'm just going to assume that's like baseball terminology for a left-handed person or whatever, or however he throws the ball, because for his brother, it literally just says right-hander. So I'm literally just assuming it's left-handed. And one thing to note that I didn't really realize until I was making this video was that the coach, Coach Takamine, he kind of lets us know that he was kind of scouting Kaze from early on. He was saying how, like, he was happy that he did because, you know, he has some potential and he thinks, you know, he can make it to the big leagues. And I feel like they slid that in there a little bit, and I feel like it's going to come to play probably later on. But, you know, we still get to see Haru, and he is introduced doing shadow pitching, which is basically like he's copying his brother's form when he sees him pitch. And it's a really cool thing. We get a little peek inside his head when, you know, he gets his chance to pitch. And, you know, him and his brother, you know, they're twins, so they've always been like the same height and the same weight, and, you know, they even like the same pop idols. You know, they've always been so similar as twins. And you know, in the very first page, we got to see that the same exact professional game got them both into baseball at the same time. So it's like they've really been the same from, you know, from birth to all the way now. And when he finally gets to pitch the ball, it's not the same as his brother. Like, he kind of fumbles, and, you know, despite having the same pitch form as his brother, it just wasn't working out. And, you know, that's all right. And people kind of take note that, you know, they're twins, but they're completely opposite, like, not the same at all. And we see that even after the little practice game or scrimmage, you know, Haru is, you know, he's staying back, everybody's left, and he's reviewing his game highlights. But, you know, unfortunately, it's not really game highlights for him. It's more just like he's reviewing his footage. But, you know, still, you know, we see Kaze even stay back with him to practice with him. And I don't know, it's kind of a little nice because you really get to see his, like, perseverance and his strength, because, you know, he's not giving up. He's staying after the practice still. Like, he's still trying to get better. And we see that he really wants to, catch up to his brother. Meanwhile, we get introduced to Ibuki Hayayama, who joins the season in the middle, and supposedly he's, this little legend. The whole teammates are talking about him, and they're basically saying how he basically led the U12 and under team to like nationals, and he's like this super short catcher, and like he's basically an actual like athlete. He's actually played professionally a little bit. And the thing about him that they say is that, he actually disappeared ever since middle school started. So like I'm wondering what happened between middle school to now. And I don't know if I said it, but they're in 8th grade basically. So they're in like their last year of middle school right now. So that's like 2 to 3 years ish, give or take. We don't know when exactly he stopped playing and this and that. So he was gone for a minute, but supposedly he's back now. And the thing I like about his character is he's really blunt and really confrontational, and he literally goes straight up to Kaze and he's like, yo, I've seen you, like I know you don't be trying, like let me see what you got, like show me what you got, like straight out. He literally says that to him, to his face. And Kaze was really uninterested in him at first, but I think he was kind of getting to him because he was just like testing his aura for real. And we actually get to see this really cool, I really love this page, this really sick page turn where Kaze is like, you can tell he put his arm to that throw. He was a little trying, and he has the whole team shocked. He has the coach shocked. He even has Haru shocked. And then we get to see that Ibuki kind of caught that with ease. Like he wasn't like it's really cold. Like it's really insane. And even Kaze kind of admits like, damn, like he barely moved his mitt. Like he kind of did that easily. And it kind of goes to show like there's levels to this. Like Kaze is really hyped up, but then now we got Ibuki, who's he lives up to his lore. He lives up to his legend. Like he's really up there. So we're seeing the levels, and Ibuki's really invested in him. He's like, yo, I can like draw out your full potential, but you need to go to the same high school as me. And Kaze really just kind of declines because it all comes back to the promise they made when they were little kids that they're basically just gonna stick together and play together. And Kaze kind of looks to his brother for like reassurance, but Haru is so like out of it, man. Like seeing his brother like actually try with a pitch kind of just took him out. You can see that like he's not even there, because it's like kind of daunting to think like, damn, like how come he don't be doing that in games? Like like it's just crazy because he hasn't seen that before, and like seeing it is kind of like scaring him, and also like making him realize like, oh wait, maybe he's been holding back. And I like this scene where we had them walking home from practice or scrimmage or whatever, and Haru kind of admits to him like, yo, like have you been holding back because of me? And it's like, and he's like, if you were, then you can just go to Hojutsu, which is basically a school they wanted to go to together. And he's like, you can go to it without me, and like just forget about me for real. And Kaze doesn't like that. He kind of gets really pissed off about that. And he's like, if you're gonna forget our promise, then you shouldn't have made it in the first place. And you can kind of see that the brothers are kind of starting to like drift, because Kaze is all about his brother. Like I don't think to him, in his eyes, he doesn't really see his brother as like lesser or anything like that, which I really kind of like. But Haru is kind of like, he's kind of coming to the realization like, damn, like his brother is actually like really gifted in baseball. And they actually end things off kind of badly because the way home was silent. They weren't talking. And I think we get like a little mini like day later, little time skip, and we see that the brothers still aren't talking. Classic sibling drama. Y'all fight, y'all don't want to talk to each other, y'all don't want to see each other, y'all don't even want to be around each other. So they're still not talking. And Haru kind of goes to Ibuki for some advice, and Ibuki kind of sees this as an opportunity to win Kaze over, because he's kind of like, all right, if I help out Haru, then maybe Kaze will like me more. So he agrees, but he's like, can you accept something? And it's basically, he's like, he literally tells him to his face, he's like, yo, like you can't be like Kaze, and like, can you come to terms with that? And you can kind of see it really caught Haru off guard with that, because he wasn't expecting that. He wasn't prepared for that, and he doesn't even answer. But we do get this nice little like training montage of Ibuki and Haru practicing together. And again, like you can just tell that Haru really puts in the work. Like this man he's running, he's sweating, he's like catching the ball, he's throwing, like he's trying, like he's doing everything, to get better. And you can never hate on somebody hustling. Like he's grinding. I would never hate on anybody doing that, because it's like, bro, he's putting in the work. And we get this like nice little scene of, like, it looks to me as, I took it as Haru kind of like throwing his last ball, like his last attempt. But Ibuki kind of like, you can tell he kind of realized something about that pitch. 1 month later, we get into their first official game, and surprisingly, something's really off with Kaze. Like the whole team realized it, the coach, the teammates, and Kaze is kind of giving opposing team opportunities to kind of win. And even Haru is kind of like, he's kind of coming to realization, like, damn, it's probably because of the fight they had, and they haven't talked to each other and this and that. Also admire this scene because we can kind of see Haru's resolve kind of like break for a second, but then it comes back together, because he's like, damn, like I haven't been able to look my brothers in the eyes, like we don't do this around here. So he goes up to the coach, and he's like, yo, coach, put me in, coach. Like that's literally what he says. And I think right then and there this is exactly when his resolve just hardened right back up. And he's like, you know what, I'm not gonna keep my brother waiting up any longer. And they talk about the promise real quick, and he's like, yo, like let big bro handle this, like big bro got this, bro. And it's really cute because Kaze kind of gets little like reminiscences of a memory of when they were kids, and how they were basically gonna say they're gonna stick together, they were gonna go play together. And a lot of their connection kind of resolves from liking the same thing, but also just being twins, because they want to play together at Koshinen, and they want to go to the same high school, and they want to be known as brothers. Like they're not ashamed of being brothers, and I really like that. And then we get to see Haru finally going he's locked in. Like you can tell he's locked in. He got his brave face on, he's locked in, he's serious. And we get to see him pitch for the first time, and he's actually like, I really love this spread, because you can tell he actually put in the work. You can see his arm, you can see like the wind and like the dirt and the dust like picking up and everything. He really put everything into this, and he got a strike. It was an amazing, they reveal it as an underhand throw, and we get to see that, we get a little flashback to Ibuki and Haru training together. And basically they talk about how essentially Haru has been mirror drawing, which is when left-handed people kind of just naturally copy right-handed people, just because of how the world is, and it's how it's usually made more for right-handed people. And he's been copying his brother with the shadow pitching, so he kind of perfected just copying a right-handed person. So he goes into depth about how left-handed people and right-handed people, especially in sports, they use their bodies differently, and that plays a big part into different skill sets and different movement. And especially in baseball, we get even deeper into some baseball terminology. We find out that there's like 4 or 5 different types of pitching throws or pitching techniques. And then the coach even adds on and says how Kaze has a vertical spin, and then Haru has a lateral spin in his pitches. And then all this kind of adds up to the whole idea that this whole time Haru is actually his own unique person. He doesn't have to be like his brother. Just because they're twins doesn't mean that they're the same. And he can finally just be himself. And that was kind of like the realization that he could be him now. And with that, they win the game because of Haru throwing 3 strikes, and they win the game. And like a week later, we see the coach and Haru talking privately for a minute. And then thanks to Ibuki being nosy, he asks him like, yo, did you get into Hojutsu, which was the school him and his brother wanted to get into together? And he was like, yeah, he got an invitation. Ibuki then offers an invitation that him and Haru should team up together to form their own baseball team at the Hinezakura High School, because they need a baseball team. And this offer just comes really out of nowhere. And Ibuki kind of goes into depth about how a baseball team nowadays kind of just go for the more physiques, the guys who are leaner and a little bit taller and bigger, and then also the pitchers who just focus on speed, because speed over everything else. And then I really like this panel because then it shows them, Ibuki's a short king, and then we have Haru here, who's in a regular southpaw pitcher, which is just odd. But we get like a nice little sneak peek into I think future teammates. They have their back turned, but I'm pretty sure these are going to be new future recruits and teammates. But Ibuki just kind of goes on and say like, let's just make a team of irregulars, outcasters, and we don't have to just go for what's normal. We can just get people who love the game for the game. Yeah, Ibuki just really stands firm on this idea, and he's like, he even admits that he originally came there for Kaze, but now he wants Haru, and he's like, yo, I'm gonna make you the world's best pitcher. Like, I'm gonna make you famous if you allow me to, if you just follow me. And Haru is really having this big realization that like, yo, ever since he came here, it's been fresh and new, and he even like taught him more about himself and opened up his eyes more. So like, we end the chapter here just on this big realization and this offer. And yeah, we don't even get to see Kaze, but it's kind of obvious where it's going to go. But now I'm going to jump into and dissect the color page. Alright, now that we reviewed the chapter and we have new knowledge on the characters and the context and the plot, let's dive into this gorgeous color page. So right in the beginning, I think the main thing that kind of just jumps out to me when looking at this is Haru. He's the biggest person in this picture, and he's looking straight at us, and he has the ball in his hand, and to me that kind of represents he's looking us straight on. So he's gonna be like going straight to the goal, straight to this path, and I don't think he's gonna really waver from the goal or from the dream. And if we look to his down to the bottom left, we see 4 little characters, and we obviously get to see Ibuki in the front. I mean, his character design is really sick, but I like how he's in the front because he really is the catalyst, and he really is the one who kind of started this all. And I think all the people behind him, I'm pretty sure they're going to be new recruits and new teammates we're going to meet in the future. We see a guy with glasses. He's probably going to be blind without them, but he's a really good batter. He's still going to be a batter. And then we look like we have like an outfielder or defender, and they're probably like really good. And then we have a guy with pink hair. So yeah, I'm really excited to meet these other new characters, and we kind of know they're going to be on a team because they're all wearing the same uniform. And then when we back out and we actually look at the picture again, we see Haru, and he's facing a different direction. He's looking more towards like up in the sky, and I like how him and Haru aren't looking the same way, because I'm pretty sure they're gonna split apart, and they're gonna go their different ways. Kaze is probably gonna go to Hojitsu, that little famous high school, and Haru is going to join Ibuki and his little team. So I kind of like that little detail, and I even like the little falcon little behind him, because I think that's his animal, and I'm really glad that we're seeing that animal again. And I'm really curious to see what Haru's animal is going to be. I feel like it's going to be something normal, but something strange, so we'll see. And even if you zoom in closer, we see the coach. He's in this like really shadowy bluey color, and I don't know, to me he looks like he's scheming. I really hope this is the last time we see him, but I feel like he's going to come back. He's on Kaze's side, because he really likes Kaze. He's the one who went out of his way to scout him early on, so I'm pretty sure he's probably going to be behind the strings or more involved in Kaze's life. But again, I hope we don't see him. And then the last little detail I like is all the way at the bottom right, we actually find out or get to know what Koshinen is. It's a stadium, and I wonder if it's real, but yeah, I like that little touch. Overall, I really liked the story. I feel like this chapter 1 was really great. It really fleshed out and told us the story. We don't need to know that much. I mean, I feel like the story kind of explains itself. We have brothers, we have sports, we have baseball, we have, these teammates and these friends, and we're meeting new people. So, I think it was a really great startup chapter. I'm really hoping to learn more about baseball, and I'm really curious to see how in-depth they're going to go with baseball, because, again, this is like their first sports series, or just like regular human series, because they usually do like horror action or battle action. So this is a big change and a big difference. But yeah, I'm really rooting for them. I'm really gonna be pushing this out. I really want this to succeed, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to the rest of the chapters. And yeah, we'll see what happens next week. So yeah, thank you if you stayed and watched this whole entire video. I know it's really lengthy, but I really just wanted to dive into this chapter because it was the first chapter, and it's the longest chapter that we're ever gonna get. Yeah, I just feel like hopefully this can help out somebody later on in the series. I think it was a nice little breakdown. And yeah, I just hope you guys all enjoy it. I'm really looking forward to this again. And yeah, stay tuned. Thank you for watching. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, and comment. Have an amazing day. And I love you guys. I appreciate you guys, and I love you guys all. Stay safe and stay blessed. See ya.